An inevitable fate, the conclusion. It was hunger that interrupted their casual banter, and it seemed only Bet's treasured goods could satisfy their appetites. These morsels were potential jewels, but they were raw and green. Their consumption would require some preliminary preparation. Inexperience was a hindrance to Bob, and though Bet was a bit more inclined, she too was less than proficient. He scratched his head, and she placed a finger to her chin to contemplate. After due consideration, Bet conservatively suggested a variety of concoctions, created without benefit of any temperature enhancements. All her formulas featured simple combinations of ingredients, lightly spiced and served properly with dressing. They engaged in several recipes and were satisfied at first. The sun was relentless, however. It continued feeding them seductive subliminal innuendos, and the obscure quickly became the obvious. Creative juices began to flow freely at G-force speed, and Bob's innovative side was exposed. Initially, his solutions were rudimentary, crude, and even a bit controversial. Imagine him cooking for the very first time, turning that knob to broil. Bob waited, not quite sure if his timing was right. Finally, he found the nerve. He reached in and slid the virgin meal from the oven. Gently, he removed the cover. The steam rose, and aroma drew Bet in closer. Cautiously, she took the first bite. The taste drew a moan. Oh, that flavor! What had he done? I think it was the heat, and I added a bit more spice, he said innocently, not really understanding the hypnotic power that was simmering before him. Bet licked the dressing from her fingers, and a brand new self-confidence emerged. She smiled an alluring smile, and from her lips came, "I got a new twist. I dare you to try it." She selected a piece of her very finest and slowly removed its peel. She held it out in her hand, offering up a small sample. Bob accepted graciously and was about to dip, but she brought him to a halt. "What?" She winked a tantalizing wink, and then whispered in a deep bedroom tone, "Without the dressing, mister." Bob blushed before succumbing to the temptation, and Bet immediately followed suit. After indulging all they could endure, they came together in agreement. This was considerably more satisfying. They're now eternally committed, and love never ends, so their lust for exceeding the other's expectation requires and inspires them to continually refine their exotic techniques. This sort of passion and commitment, it's what makes love grow. Bob was successful transforming himself from the simple Mr. Ramon to the irresistible Mr. Romance. But what about Bet? She was a saint of sort, always striving to be the very best. Whether she's reached her peak or not is up for debate. But here's the naked truth. She's better.